Welcome back to the Arizona Cardinals franchise on Madden 21, guys. And what a run for our Cardinals. I'm still speechless, man. It's been a full week, and we are now Super Bowl champions. And I believe it's the Cardinals' first championship ever in team history. So it's a big feat. In case you missed it, we beat the Titans 31-24 in Super Bowl 59. We just got on a run, and we were able to take care of business. In today's video, we'll look back at the season, take a look at season stats. We'll take a look at the yearly awards, and we'll also look ahead to the offseason with players that need to be re-signed, college players being scouted, and free agents to keep your eyes on as we get ready to go into our last season of Madden 21. So let's start things off in the 3-2. So let's start things off in the preseason. It was pretty tough. We were 0-4 in the preseason, getting handled pretty badly by the Ravens, the Eagles, the Packers, and the Cowboys. I'm not going to front. Going into after the preseason, I was nervous. I felt like the team just wasn't ready to play, and we kind of showed that on the field when we lost to the Jets, 44-24 in our first game. Cody Walker's first start as a professional quarterback, and it was pretty bad. 277 through the air, a touchdown, and he threw 5 interceptions. But I felt like it was my fault. I felt like we got away from the run game early. 14 carries for JK, as you'll see later on, is just not enough. And I tried to make Cody what Justin Fields was for the Panthers, and that's just not his game. T. Higgins goes over 100 yards, and we rarely use Keith Miller. We'll talk about his ascension to a star wide receiver here in a few minutes. But yeah, we started the season off real bad, and then we won 5 games in a row. We beat the Niners, we beat the Packers, the Seahawks, the Bills, and the Patriots. Then we went on to lose 2 games in a row to the Rams and to the Lions. Then we beat the Bears, and then another 2-game losing streak to the Seahawks and the Falcons. Got back to our winning ways in Week 13, beating the Giants in Thursday Night Football. Then we beat the Dolphins. We lost to the Niners, beat the Rams by 3, and then lost to the Vikings in Week 17. That Week 17 game really messed things up for the playoffs for us because we went in as the 7th seed, taking on the Lions. And I'm not going to front. I thought we were going to be out in the first round. But this team just showed true heart since from the jump of the playoffs starting. We rallied around Kawan Short his final season, and it helped carry us to the Super Bowl, man. We went on the road 3 games, beat Detroit, the number 2 team in the NFC, beat the Panthers, the number 1 team in the NFC. And then we got revenge against the Vikings, who were a wild card team just like us. And then we carried our momentum into the Super Bowl, beating the Titans 31-24. Again, it was just a crazy run. In the playoffs, man, I really did not see this team showing this, like being able to come out and get wins like this in the playoffs, especially this Panthers game. I knew we had a mindset of, this is our old team. We've got to come out and show them that we're not scared. But we really came out and punched these boys in the mouth early, man, putting up 24 points in the first half. We outgained them. We beat them with their own game, basically. I think this was one of Cody's best games as a professional, 267 through the air, 2 touchdowns. The run game, Dobbins just was a monster. 30 carries for 245. The only thing I wish, man, we could have got him in the end zone. With a game like that, he deserves to get a rushing touchdown. But again, it was Keith Miller, man. I really didn't think Keith would have the breakout season that he did. But this kid, as a rookie, stepped up and became a true number 1 receiver. Let's take a look at the season stats. And here's the season stats. Cody Walker in his first year as a quarterback in the NFL, 4,142 yards, 23 touchdowns, 24 interceptions, completed 55% of his balls. He averaged 259 yards per game, and he was sacked 37 times. Ugly stats for year 1 for Cody. He definitely had a freshman slump, but I think he really started to come along in the second part of the season. It definitely helped us out big time in the playoffs, even though he threw, 4 or 5 interceptions in the Super Bowl. Cody is going to be a dangerous player going forward for this Cardinals team. He's just getting better every game. He's up to an 85 overall. He's got the superstar X factor. I wish the throw power was a little bit stronger, but the accuracies are growing, and that's what I like to see. 88 deep, 92 medium, and 87 short. And don't forget, he can also get outside the pocket. He's got great speed, 85 speed, and 93 acceleration. Again, I think Cody next season is going to have a bigger role in this offense, and he's definitely going to be in consideration for the MVP. Now, last season, I really wanted to get a running back in here who I thought could carry the load and would be a star. And J.K. Dobbins definitely stepped up for us. 352 carries, 1,834 yards, and 14 touchdowns. He did fumble 5 times, but let's just be honest, man. J.K. had games that we didn't see coming. Going for like 200 yards. I think he got close to 300 yards against the Niners in the beginning of the season. He is just a well-rounded running back, and he's just getting better and better. 91 overall with superstar development. And, he doesn't have like that wild speed, but he has breakaway speed. As you saw in the Super Bowl against the Titans, he was able to take one to the house on a long run. The trucking isn't there, but he can break tackles, great juke move, great spin move. The change of direction is there. But I want him to work on this offseason is coming out of the backfield and making catches. He had a lot of drop balls this season as a receiver, but again, this dude is going to be a workhorse for us moving forward. Then you have Rojo, second on the team with 326 and 7 scores. Cody out of the quarterback position, 241 yards, 4 touchdowns. He fumbled the ball 6 times this year. And Damian Johnson, he's going to be an interesting player going into next season. 18 carries, 61 yards, and a touchdown. I can see a world where Damian Johnson moves to the number 2 running back position and Rojo gets traded. I like Damian Johnson a lot. I like his speed. I like his agility. I like that he can break tackles. He might be that number 2 back that we're looking for to go along with JK. Now, out wide, I talked about it earlier. Keith Miller has really set himself apart from the rest of the receiving group. He is wide receiver number 1 for this team. 86 grabs for 1,312 yards and 10 touchdowns. At the start of the season, he was number 2 on our depth chart, and he really wasn't getting a lot of touches. And I think we were in the middle of a game, and I was like, let's just see what Keith can do at the number 1 spot. And he took over, and he hasn't given it up since. Just great numbers across the board, 92 speed, 94 catching. Again, the route running is something we're going to be working on this offseason. He's got great short route running, but I really want to get that medium and deep route running up. I think he'd be great as an intermediate kind of route runner, especially with his size. He's going to be a star in this league for a long time, man. Then there's Andy Isabella in the slot, 71 catches for 1,066 and 7 touchdowns. The speedster, man. This guy was a monster for us, man. He made a lot of big catches for us this season. Blake Jarwin, 50 grabs, 643 and a touchdown. Blake, again, him too. He made a lot of big catches for us. I can remember, I think it was the Detroit game. It was either the Detroit game or the Minnesota game where he caught the pass, broke the tackle, and got into the end zone to close the gap for us. He's going to be a free agent this year, so we're going to look to bring him back maybe. I've got to cut my eye on a couple other tight ends that should be free agents at the end of the season. Then you've got T. Higgins. We picked him up in free agency last year, 49 grabs, 719 and 3 scores. He's more of a possession type receiver. I thought he could have been what Keith Miller turned out to be, but with the 88 speed, the 88 acceleration, he's got great catching traffic. The route running is not quite there. He can go up and grab the ball with a spec catch. I want to bring T back next year, but we've got to figure out a better role for him. And then Dobbins out of the backfield, 29 grabs for 259 and 2 scores. I think one place we have to look to upgrade this offseason is the offensive line. I feel like Cody was running for his life a lot this year. There were a lot of times where he was getting hit as he was throwing. We have a pretty weird setup on our offensive line. Jake Matthews, in his 12th year out of A&M, he gave up 5 sacks. Deontay Brown, his 5th year out of Alabama, he gave up 5 sacks. And you had Demarius Silvers, the rookie center, he gave up 5 sacks. Will Irving at left guard gave up 3. Josh Jones at right tackle gave up 3 as well. Faale, he gave up 2, and Jackson gave up 1. A lot of these guys are going to be free agents. I'm going to be looking to upgrade the offensive line. That's going to be priority number 1 in free agency this year. To the defensive side of the ball, we go. Isaiah Simmons led the team with 154 tackles. Zeke is just a freak. This dude is a problem, man. He can tackle. He can cover. He is going to be a star for this defense for the rest of his contract. Same for Patrick Queen, 103 tackles. I feel like his numbers were down because Simmons' numbers were up. And these two, I think, are probably the best 2 linebackers in the NFL right now. Greedy Williams, 91 tackles. Pat P had 84. You had Thompson with 76. Diggs also had 76. Kevon Wallace with 71. Tariq Thompson with 65. Gregory Rousseau with 48. Jordan Elliott had 44. Leon Jacobs with 33. Javier Bass had 30. You had Marquise Blair with 24. Tavon Starks had 18. Kerry Vincent Jr. had 15. And then Fotu had 13. QB sack department, big year for Gregory Rousseau with 11.5 sacks. And you had Jordan Elliott with 4.5. Bass had 3.5. Queen had 2. Simmons had 1. Thompson, Fatu, Finch each had 1. And Clancy had a half a sack. We'll go back up here and we'll talk about Javier Bass. I want to see his sack numbers up. I feel like he made flashes. You know what I mean? He brought a lot of QB pressure, but I would love to see him in the 8 to 10 sack range. And I think we can keep Gregory Rousseau growing. I think he can get up to 15 sacks next season. Turnover department, it didn't feel like it, but Greedy Williams had 6 picks on the year. Pat P had 5, and Diggs had 5. And then it was Simmons, Thompson, Blair, and Starks each with 1. It's crazy that our 3 corners had so many interceptions, but I felt like we gave up so many balls to different wide receivers. I feel like we weren't doing a great job covering. I feel like we gave up a lot of big plays. But when we needed a big play, when we needed a turnover, we could count on Greedy to make a play. Pat P with a lot of pick sixes this year. A lot of interceptions, key interceptions, and then Trevon Diggs too, man. Diggs had an interception in the Super Bowl. These 3 guys are great corners, but I think we need to get at least one more in here who can be a true lockdown for us. I was thinking Pat P might retire this year. He still might. He still might. But I want him to retire as a Cardinal. Taking a look at the defensive touchdowns, like I said, Pat P with 3 pick sixes this year. Greedy had 2 pick sixes. Diggs had 1. Blair had a touchdown, and so did Jordan Elliott. Taking a look at the kicking game, Kai Fairbairn, great year, man, 20 of 21. He had a long of 51 yards, and he was perfect on extra points. Tim Elam, I would argue that Tim Elam could have been MVP this year. 44 punts, 1,982 yards, 14 inside the 20. He had a long of 60. But this kid, man, I'm going to be honest with you. The way he kicked the ball in the playoffs, we got a couple safeties in the playoffs just because he was able to pin the ball deep and pin these teams back at their own 1. He could be a candidate for team MVP. Our return game was pretty much trash this year. Damian Johnson, 349 yards. And then we put Jamal Williams back there. He had 459 yards. Punt return, same thing. Jamal only had 20 yards, and then Johnson had 5. So let's take a look at the yearly awards. Congratulations to Russell Wilson. He is your NFL MVP, followed by Justin Fields. And you have Josh Allen. Bobby Harrison is 4th. Jordan Love finished 5th. Jameis Winston is 6th. Justin Herbert is 7th. Josh Rosen is 8th. You got Patty Mahomes 9th, and Dak Prescott is 10th. All these quarterbacks, man. And the coach of the year goes to Kevin Stefanski from the Browns, 13-3. Doug Marrone from the Lions is 2nd. He was 11-5 this year. Joe Judge, 12-4 with the Saints. Matt Rule is up here, 12-4 with the Panthers. And you had Demetrius Turner with the Seahawks in at 5. Sean McDermott is 6. Mike Vrabel is 7. Sam Borst with the Ravens is 8. Lance Franklin, our coach, man, congratulations, finishes 9th. And then Matt Patricia is 10th. Let's take a look at the NFC awards, man. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Russell Wilson. And you've got Fields, Rosen, Sears, Love, Mark Turner, the quarterback that we traded away. He's in Green Bay. He's 6th on the list. Christian McCaffrey, Dak, J.K. is 9th. And Ethan Holiday finishes 10th. Defensive Player of the Year in the NFC, Devin White, the linebacker from Tampa Bay. They have Roquan Smith from the Bears. Aaron Donald is on this list. Marshawn Lattimore, Cameron McGrone, Jeremy Chin from the Panthers, Jair Alexander, Bobby Wagner, Isaiah Simmons is 9th, and then Fred Warner is 10th. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Cody Walker, tied with his fellow Cardinal rookie, Keith Miller. Then you've got Barry Dockery, Randall Atkins, Deion Anthony from the Saints, Parker Williams from the Rams, Justin Smith from the Panthers, Curtis Gibbs from the Giants, and then Tim Clark, former GSU tight end, and Ezekiel Ramsey from the Seahawks. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Aaron Wilkinson, former Grambling State cornerback with the Bears. Then you've got Eddie Wheeler, Jamarcus Kennedy, Max Hobbs from the Panthers, Devin Pryor from the Washington football team, Justin Baker for the Cowboys, and you've got Terrence Day, Theo McKenzie, Travis Haley, and Bryce Jackson. Position players, best QB goes to Russ. You got Justin, Josh Rosen, Jordan Love, Mark Turner, Prescott, Trevor Lawrence, Holiday, Sears, and Garoppolo. Running back, of course, is our guy, J.K. Dobbins, monster year, followed by our former running back, Christian McCaffrey. Then you got Zeke, Barkley, Kamara, Akers, Kerryon Johnson, Chris Carson, Miles Sanders, and Devin Singletary. Best wide receiver goes to Keith Miller in his rookie year. That is crazy. The best wide receiver is a rookie player from the Cardinals. And you got Justin Jefferson, Devin Funches, Enrique Owens, Parker Barrett, KJ Hamler, Tyler Lockett, Taj Garnes, Devontae Adams, and Anthony Miller. On the offensive line, Ronnie Stanley is your number 1 offensive lineman, and I don't think we have anybody up here. Defensive line, this should be interesting. You got Aaron Donald, Daniil Hunter, Derek Barnett, B.J. Hill, Derek Brown, Gregory Rousseau made the list at 6, DeMarcus Lawrence, Grady Jarrett, Kenny Clark, and Arias Barkley. This is kind of disappointing, man. Roquan Smith is your best linebacker, followed by Devin White, Cameron McGrone, Jeremy Chin, Merlin Robertson, and Isaiah Simmons finishes 6th. Then you've got Quan Alexander, Bobby Wagner, Deion Jones, and Khalil Mack. I feel like some of our defensive players got snubbed here. Marshawn Lattimore is named your cornerback of the year, followed by Jair Alexander. And you've got Greedy, Pat P., Mike Hughes from the Vikings. Trayvon Diggs is 6th. Jonathan Abram, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Jaquiski Tart from the Niners, and Darius Slay rounds out your best DBs. Best kicker, Kai Fairbairn, and that's it, man. So a lot of Cardinals on this list, man. Great season for our boys, and they deserve the praise from the voting staff for these awards. So here is a look at the retirements as we get ready for the offseason. And Pat P decides to hang it up after 14 seasons. Glad we could get him a Super Bowl win with the team that drafted him. Then Gabe Jackson retires at left guard. And Kawan Short, he announced it at the end of the season. He hangs it up after 12 seasons. So honestly, we have a lot of players that are looking to get re-signed this year. I'm not sure if everybody will be back. Jake Matthews at left tackle. You've got Marquise Blair at free safety. Tariq Thompson at outside linebacker. Blake Jarwin at tight end. Charleston Rambo at wide receiver. Alton Robinson on the defensive line. Jamal Williams, wide receiver. Then you've got Deontay Bradham at D tackle. Sharif Finch at left end. Caleb Wilson at tight end. Zach Hendricks at left tackle. Josh Dobbs, backup quarterback, and then Rashard Lawrence on the defensive line. Honestly, I can see maybe 3 or 4 players returning next season. The biggest thing for me right now, man, we got to find some offensive line help. We're going to need a left tackle. We're going to need a left guard, maybe even a right tackle. But the left side of that offensive line needs a lot of help. While we're here, let's take a look at player regression. This always hits teams hard, man. Malik Jefferson loses 5 points. Rojo goes down 4. Andy Isabella drops 7. His route running and catching traffic go down. Noah Dawkins loses 4. Kevon Wallace loses 5. Jake Matthews goes down 14. Josh Dobbs goes down 4. Caleb Wilson goes down 11. Blake Jarwin drops 14. Sharif Finch goes down 3. Blair goes down 4. And then Leon Jacobs goes down 7. So not bad. I mean, I think Jarwin, that one hurts. Jake Matthews hurts. And then Andy Isabella, that's interesting, man. He's 28. I'm shocked that he's regressing like that already. So as I scan through teams looking at free agency this year, there's a lot of big names that will be out there. First up, Zach Martin, the offensive lineman from the Cowboys. He is set to become a free agent. Even though he's older now, 34, he is still going to be a monster on the offensive line. 94 run, 94 pass block, 96 strength. If he does go into free agency, we might have to look to pick him up. We can move him to the left side to kind of shore up that left guard position for us. Also, another older player to keep your eye on, and we've been watching this guy all season, man. Fletcher Cox from the Eagles. He'll be 35 this year as well, but still has some amazing ability. Great power move, great block shedding. The speed isn't quite there, man, but he could still be a terror up the middle. I think the one thing that we were missing this season is a powerful defensive line or defensive tackle. We've got 2 fast defensive ends on the outside. We just need somebody who can bring some pressure up the middle. Another player we've got 3-2. Another player we've had our eye on for most of the season, David Bakhtiari from the Packers, man. He's going to be 34 this year, 13th year out of Colorado, and he is a stud left tackle still. 96 overall, great pass blocking traits. He could definitely protect Cody Walker's blind side, man. I know we are looking at a lot of older guys, but you know, with some of these offensive linemen, you kind of have to go that route if you want to have a stout offensive line. And I think this guy could come in and be a great addition for the team. Now, I am not a fan of poaching players from old teams, but the Panthers have a couple guys that I'm really kind of like, we might have to go get them. First up is tight end Kyle Pitts, 6'5", 239. Now, we traded for him when we were with the Panthers, and I think if he came in and was our tight end, it would be an amazing addition to the already stacked offense. Great speed, great catching. The only problem is he can't block to save his life. We can spread him out, put him in the slot. We can actually put him on the outside as a wide receiver. But I think this dude would make a great addition to our offense next year. Now, here's an option that we do have, man. Tyler Linderbaum from the Panthers. He's a center right now, but I think we could move him to guard. If we aren't able to go get Zach Martin from the Cowboys, I think Linderbaum will be a safe pick for us, and we kick him over to left guard. He's got great run blocking stats. We just got to work on that pass blocking just a little bit, but I think he would make it a great addition to the offensive line. And then I want to get a third pass rusher to go with our 2 defensive ends. Shaka Toney, his 5th year from Penn State. I think he would be a great addition, man. 83 speed, great finesse move, great acceleration, great tackling and agility. We drafted him in our first couple of seasons with the Panthers, so we know what he can do. Bringing him in would definitely help out our pass rush. We're probably going to be looking for a new strong safety this year. And Trevon Morg from TCU, he's with the Raiders right now, could be a viable option for us. Great speed. The zone coverage is there. Not that great of a tackler, but great acceleration. He's your prototypical strong safety, maybe even a free safety with that zone coverage. right now his morale is bad with the Raiders, very bad. But I think, if he becomes a free agent, he can, bolster our secondary and help out on those deep routes that I felt like we were getting beat on all year. Again, I think we're in the market for a free safety as well. Eddie Jackson from the Bears, he's set to become a free agent. He's 32 or going to be 32. A bit slower now, 87 speed, 87 zone, 89 pursuit. Still a great player, great hit power. There is a player in the draft this year that I've kind of got my eye on that could be a star for us at free safety if he's available. We'll take a look at that here in a few minutes. But I like Eddie Jackson a lot. He's a ball hog, 78 catch. I'm just worried about that 87 speed. And if we need a hole plugger up the middle, 3-2. And if we need a hole plugger up the middle, Eddie Goldman from the Bears, he's set to become a free agent. 6'3", 318. Great strength, block shedding, power move, play rec, tackling ability. Again, I think we have a couple of good defensive tackles. They're more of rotational players, but we're looking for people that come in and make an impact for us day one and can help us get back to the Super Bowl next season. So as you can see, there are a couple players, that I've got my eye on. We've got $109 million in cap room going into the offseason. So we could be a big player going into the offseason. I think we might trade Rojo. That might be one of the first things that I do, once free agency opens up. We might put T. Higgins up on the block as well. There are a lot of good wide receivers in this draft class, especially now since Keith Miller's kind of separated himself as the number one receiver. All this money that T's making, I don't know. But we've got some holes that we need to fill, especially on this offensive line. That's going to be priority number one in free agency. And then going into the draft, we've got to go take a look to see what's out there. Oh, man, we got some upgrades here, man. Unfortunately, guys, we cannot take a look at the draft class before free agency, like during the re-signing period. That's my fault. We should have did that earlier. But I think the positions that I'm looking at for the draft are free safety. I'm looking at a linebacker, some help on the offensive line. Also, wide receiver, maybe a backup quarterback. But I think focusing on the defense in the draft will probably be the smartest thing to do, considering that the offensive line is going to be a major priority for us in the offseason and in free agency. Maybe even looking for a corner might be the move. With Trayvon Diggs and Greedy Williams being our starting corners, we need a nickel corner. Unless Starks can step up and have a breakout season for us, we might have to bring in a competition to see who is going to take over that role. And, like I said, I think JK is great handling all the carries, but I want to get Damian Johnson some touches next season. So that's going to do it for the season recap, man. What a year it was for our Cardinals, but it's time to get refocused and get ready for the drive to go back-to-back. This should be an interesting season for us, man, especially this being our last year playing, or our last season playing Madden 21. I want to go out with a championship, and I think this team is set to do that, man. We've got some great players in key positions. We're just going to be looking to bolster a few spots to help us out, man, and I think this might be the offseason to do that. But hey, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're brand new, don't forget to ring that bell, join the Noti Squad, and make sure you guys hit those links down in my description. Follow your boy on Facebook, Twitter, and IG, and come through and join the Discord fam for exclusive content. And we'll talk from the off-season live stream this Saturday. Check the community tab for details on time, probably 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'll keep you guys up to date with that, man. But hey, I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. Have a great day, guys. 2 fingers in the air. Peace. Big thank you to all the members of the channel and the Patreons. If you would like to become a member or a Patreon, hit the links down below in my description.